Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Arcane. This time, I'm joined by the same person here, Kyle Entertainment. But this time, we have both seen the entire show, and we are watching season 2, episodes 1 to 3 here, the first arc of this second season. And we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be making predictions, I suppose, most likely, if we have any. Hello, say something, Kyle Entertainment.
EliteAri! Caitlin's mom is fucking dead!
Yep. Now, I don't remember.
I remember that she was Caitlin's mother, EliteAri? I absolutely did not, but that was pretty funny.
I know you had like strong predictions, but
clues.
what were the predictions? Do you remember?
Well, my big prediction was that Mel was going to die, and that would be everything, but Mel didn't die. And also, shout out Minty Elope, he gave me that bit at the beginning. That was very funny, and I stole it. So, with his permission, of course, EliteAri, but you see, it's very funny, because usually we do big characters when Rainy's is fucking dead! But this time it's Caitlin's dumb mother, because who gives a fuck? And nobody remembered it. That's part of the joke, too.
Yes.
But EliteAri, I did re-listen to all of our great discussions today, and you did bring up that she was Caitlin's mother in that. And you brought up a bunch of other things that helped me remember, because going into this, you best believe I didn't remember a bunch of this bullshit.
You know what? There was a recap at the beginning of this.
There was, I watched it.
Yep, and I was like, man, that damn episode 3 of last season was so good. So much better than the rest of the show.
God.
It was so impressive. Anyway.
We should recap our thoughts. EliteAri, he loves episode 3, and that's it of Arcane. He thinks the rest of the show is trash
true.
until we rewatched it.
Yes.
And then he decided he liked it a little bit more. I thought the first 3 episodes were absolute dog shit, and then apparently I really liked the rest of it. But that's not how I remembered it until I heard myself saying it on the videotape that you probably docked it, EliteAri. You probably put all those words in my mouth. Because when I think about Arcane, I'm like, that fucking mid-trash.
Yeah.
But I was talking about how, I would have given the middle episodes an 8 out of 10 or something. And then, what the hell?
Yep. Well, to clarify my position, I think I like it now. Generally, I think I think last season was really good. And I guess overall thoughts for this season, I would say it started off very rough. Those first few scenes were unbelievably rough. We'll talk about it, I guess.
Did it?
Yeah, but then I think it got a lot better, and I actually, you know what, this season might end up being better than last season. I guess we'll see. But I enjoyed most of this quite a lot. What do you think, Kyle?
I thought it was basically just the same, EliteAri, more of the same. It was kind of annoying at parts. The dialogue was kind of bad in parts. It was very on the nose in parts. It was generic in parts, our favorite word. Let's bring it back. EliteAri, something I just want to put out because I'll forget later and I didn't write it down, is that could you ever imagine having a skinny mum was born in our Arcane reactions? And I thought that was a great little moment.
Wow.
And it bled over into House of the Dragon, I believe, whenever Rhaenyra would hug one of her dumb sons. What was the topic?
Yeah, what do you think of the season so far?
Oh, it was more of the same. I don't know. It was okay. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I'm more annoyed that people really like the show and think it's really good. I'm sure we'll get into it as we dive in here.
Do you have any standout things you want to bring up?
Standout things. It's such a blur, EliteAri. I don't remember what the fuck happened. There was. I kind of just remembered a bunch of things, but none of them were standout things. The funny thing is Caitlin is now the bad guy. That's pretty funny. But that's I guess.
I guess for people listening right now, for reference, I think Kyle watched this yesterday, so he's forgotten quite a bit in a day. So
it's
even
because
today,
I watched 6 hours of us talking about season 1, and now that's all I can think about.
All right, that's great.
But yes, I watched, I think, 1 the day before. No, I think I watched... Did I stream yesterday, EliteAri?
You watched 2 episodes yesterday and 1 today, I think.
Yeah, I did. I watched them both yesterday. All 3 of them yesterday, just in 2 different sessions.
Right. So did I. Anyway. Okay, well, let me think. Do I have any standout things? Not really. I'm sure it'll come to me as we go through, hopefully. I don't have too many notes for this, guys, by the way. These aren't going to be as structured as the ones for last season. I just felt like, let's just talk about stuff as we think of it.
Watching our discussions, my goodness, was it annoying when we just went through the episodes. So thank God we're not doing that today. It'll be shorter, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would talk about all the interesting stuff, then go through the episodes. And I think we peaked in Madoka Magica for that, and then EliteAri cut that fucking shit out of the discussion. You guys never heard.
All right.
So we're on there are overall things now that I'm remembering and briefly looking over my notes. But my notes are basically structured as things I thought were funny that we talked about in the discussions.
Oh my God.
And then I've got general notes, and then I've got predictions, and then I've got a variety article because there's been some drama, EliteAri, recently.
Oh, wow.
Because the budget for both seasons of Arcane came out, and everybody's like, well, stupid riot. Why did they spend this much money on this show? And it seems like people are basically saying right, dumb, right, bad for this. Not because they don't like Arcane anymore, but because they think they spent too much money, and therefore, and that's why there's only going to be 2 seasons. And there's like a quote in the article about somebody saying that the original pitch was for 5 seasons, and how they were going to do a bunch of movies and stuff, but they might have
unbelievably
not made their budget back.
Like, I don't
it's
care
the
about
greatest.
any of
It's
this.
the most interesting part. I was reading the whole article. It was long, except I didn't read the whole thing, EliteAri. But anyway.
We'll get to it.
The people, they care about this. They want the facts, because I saw a million thumbnails about it also when I was looking it up. But that's my notes, Leary. Let's just get the fucking the stupid self-referential ones out of the way, all right? I'll run through them. It'll take a minute. I said take it or leave it on the visuals, combined with it being generic. That was like my overall point in the first one. I will say, when I reflect on Arcane now, I definitely reflect on it visually being good. So that's definitely changed. I've been brainwashed by the general consensus of that, and I would say that continued into this. I will say with the visuals, I guess this is just bringing up a thing. I guess we're talking about the visuals now. Good, EliteAri, you're not as bored. So visually, and I think I realized this more in season 2, but I could just be brainwashed because I haven't actually seen season 1. I just listened to us talk about it for 6 hours. There's lots of cool visual moments in Arcane that really do feel pointless. And I didn't think I would ever care about that.
Okay.
Like I would ever care about visuals not having a point. Like generally, I'm style and substance, the same thing. Retard.
Yeah. I hope you have examples.
Popping into my...
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, EliteAri, if you'd shut the fuck up, the thing that pops into my head is like they're doing the weird orb thing, and there's like I think a scene in episode 3 where they're like in their orb thing, and they've got like a weird visual effect on them, and I was like, this should be really cool, and it looks okay. But for some reason, this is just doing nothing for me. I did rewatch the bridge fight scene from season 1, and I felt a similar way about that. Like I feel like the coolest visual thing I saw in the first 3 episodes was when Jinx is giving the speech to her new little daughter, and like the smoke says "pow" when she says "pow," and I was like, oh, that was really cool. But other than that, I'm like, yeah, there's obviously a lot of cool imagery that I should like. It just doesn't hit for me. And I can't remember any other examples. So anyway, the visuals, I generally think back on Arcane looking very good. And I would say it still looks pretty good. It is very stylized, which I should like. But maybe it's too many styles at once, like scene to scene. But I should definitely like that. So I don't know what's going on here, EliteAri. You just say you're tactful nonsense. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I have the complete opposite issue, which I'm sure you remember from our discussions, which is that I think Arcane tries to place too much meaning in all of its visuals. Like,
well, you're talking about like symbolism and shit.
Yeah, like I thought you were saying that it doesn't have that, right? Like, why are they making a thing look a certain way?
Well, it's not just symbolism. I don't know. What is good visuals? Am I thinking about Naruto?
Yeah, you were talking about how... what was your point? That you don't have any purpose to the visuals, right? Is what you were saying.
Yeah, but usually I don't care about that. But why is Arcane different to like any movie I see that just has a cool shot for the sake of it? Now, I'm sure it's a long shot in the shadows and Portrait of a Lady on Fire where you can only see them from far away and all you can see is the silhouettes, and that's really cool. But that's supposed to reflect that they're on their own in this journey and the long shadows of society or something. I'm sure you can read meaning into it and it's not just pointless. But to me, the sensation of watching it is just like, whoa, that's a really cool shot or a really cool effect or something. And things like that happen in Arcane, but there's something that it could just be that I want to dislike Arcane and I'm just like, fuck off Arcane. Stop trying to be good. Stupid. What was your question?
I think you answered it. That's fine. It was about purpose.
No, I'm always answering questions, EliteAri. Never say I'm not.
I think I can agree with you when it comes to the... Well, I don't know what you were necessarily saying, but I have an issue with the eclectic styles sometimes. And it particularly has to do with this...
That's my word.
Let's talk about this opening, I guess, stretch of this show, okay?
So hold on. Let me guess before you say it.
Yeah.
So the opening, because Minty also... Now, I did read Minty's spoiler messages in our Discord, and I did briefly say a few things to him, all right? So, sorry, EliteAri, I apologize. The next time Mia can yell at me in our next Fire Punch discussion. He also gave me the idea for that great joke at the beginning. So
go ahead.
Shut up. I'm guessing on the first scene. So the first scene is like Caitlyn's mum's funeral, I think. Is that what we're talking about here?
No, we're talking...
was complaining about this too.
We're talking about a few things. Okay, I'm just going to talk about it. First, we have the opening scene, which is basically an immediate cut into what happened at the end of last season, the aftermath, where everyone is like in chaos and stuff. And Jace is kind of disoriented and he's looking around him and there's all this destruction and stuff. And clearly
he went over
where...
to Mel and she fucking moved, and I was like, no, she's alive. This is the craziest moment of my life.
Yep, and her mum
ahead.
is there to like look after her and everything. And I think in this moment, clearly, we're meant to be feeling like Jace's disorientation and like pain in this moment or whatever. That's clearly what's meant to be conveyed here. But it is so... it just needed to be way more graphic. To me, it just looked like nothing bad happened. I was like, oh, hey, look, it's like dusty and stuff.
That is true.
And I was like, oh, okay, we meant to feel something here? Because I feel nothing. I feel like this is just like... it's just, oh, like an explosion happened and everyone's okay. That's kind of what it looked like, and I didn't feel anything.
I only half agree with this, EliteAri, because I did think this scene was kind of cool. But also, I was like, why? It's just like Mel didn't die. It's just the annoying counselors. Why would anybody care?
The people we didn't care about, yeah.
But but I think because there is a holding on who we now will know, EliteAri. We didn't know this at the time, but apparently it was Caitlyn's mother. And obviously there's a backstory with Jace and Caitlyn and stuff like that. So it made sense that he would go over to her and be sad that she was dead or whatever. But I don't know. I like scenes in things where they portray a moment of crisis and they sort of follow a character through it, and you see other characters acting in moments of crisis. Where they're sort of running over and checking on people and how long they pause on each individual person. And part of, like, I'm thinking, I don't even think this happens in the season 2 Game of Thrones, like, riot scene where they all get back and Tyrion's running around trying to find Sansa, and there's a great interaction with Joffrey, and then he says, "Send the Hound," but the Hound's already gone to save Sansa. It's great. But it's like a moment of crisis, and we're all... And when a big moment in Arcane for this is when the mother shows up, and it's just like a cute little interaction, and they both go to Mel.
Yeah, that's the best part of this opening scene.
But there is a massive disconnect of, like... And it's throughout the first episode of, like, why does anybody in the city care that, like, 3 politicians died? And, like, it makes more sense, because later, at the memorial or whatever, they blow up a bunch of, like, normal people, I'm assuming. And that'd be like, oh, now we can go to war and stuff. We hate them. This is their Liberio moment. Epic.
I don't... We clearly have very different takes on this. Like that,
all right, go ahead.
So it seems like you're worried more about the in-world kind of connection of these characters.
No, because it was also a disconnect with me caring about it.
Yeah, that's the only thing for me. To me, I felt basically no emotions at all about like, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. What's happening here? And I think in this moment, you're meant to feel compelled to be like, I can't believe this happened. Like, this is terrible. And I didn't feel any of that.
Yeah. Because they didn't hold, like, there was no subverting the, like, we clearly weren't supposed to go in thinking Mel's definitely dead like I did. Because they don't, like, hold on it for very long. Like,
I never, for a single second, did I think that because of her armor that glowed gold. And I was like, okay, obviously she's gonna be alive.
First of all, at the end of the discussion last time, I had convinced you 3 times over that was happening, and she put her ring down, and we were convinced the mother was going to pick up the ring she left on the table.
So why was the armor gold?
She was going to go fight Jinx. I don't know, EliteAri. You got convinced. Don't fucking give me that attitude. You can go back and re-listen to it.
Yep, I don't
you can re-listen to it, EliteAri. You absolutely, like, oh, you had a moment where you had an aha moment where you're like, oh my god, Carl, you're so right. This is definitely going to happen. And it wasn't sarcastic like my voice might let you to believe.
No, you're wrong.
Now, EliteAri. You absolutely 1,000,000% believed it.
Nope.
1,000,000,000%.
Nope.
Go back and watch it.
Yep,
everybody else can go back in the discussion, right?
Yep.
Another thing, EliteAri, there's like these Arcane videos, not very popular. I thought they were, but they weren't. These ones, you know, we're up to date right now, so they are going to be popular this time. EliteAri, we got to believe. But, so you thought Mel was going to die. But anyway, the point is we weren't supposed to think Mel was going to die because there's no, like, suspense to it at all. It's like confirmed immediately that she's still alive. Kill yourself. Now, I guess that was just the point. There is an important thing in media where it's like, what a pretentious statement, EliteAri. Where, because we're talking about expectations here. Or, like, that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, relatability to the situation or something. Like, there's a disconnect between what the people of Piltover, what a great name, I shit on that name a bunch in our discussions, would think about this situation, than what Jace is feeling in this situation and what we are feeling in this situation. When ideally, I think it seems you kind of want him to be like all in one, like we're supposed to be with Jace. Now, Arcane is like an ensemble show with like a few sides to things, etc., etc. So maybe you're not. But yeah, it's a big disconnect here at the beginning, and it's a little weird. And I think it does hurt Caitlyn initially in these episodes because you don't really care that her mom's dead or anything like that, and you're like not in her emotional headspace, and she's doing little racist things, and you're like, this is stupid, shut up. But also, I guess the Caitlyn stuff ends up working because she's being framed as the Hitler Youth, the bad guy at the end. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it works in some ways, doesn't work in others. That's the story of the great Arcane.
That is true. However, just to say, I think the thing that would have fixed this, because I love fixing my media, you know, what ifs and stuff. Just have like
Let's
have like
rewrite it.
someone missing an arm or something. That's all I would need. I'd be like, oh my god, a person's missing an arm. That's crazy.
True.
That's all you would need. And I'd be like, oh wow, this is
You did
crazy.
say that. It is a good point. Like somebody should, like Mel should have been bleeding from the head or something at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
And now the one dude's legs did get crushed, but like who
Yeah, but come
cares?
on,
I didn't
yeah,
even remember this guy at
Jesus.
all. And then
Yeah.
when I saw him, I went back and I saw a scene or something. Oh, I rewatched the very last scene too after I'd watched it all, and he was in there, and I was like, oh my god, I guess I do believe that this character was in season 1 now. This blonde little cuck boy.
Yep.
But the cool dude with the face did die, EliteAri. That was kind of tragic, you know.
Yeah, rip.
And that other girl's like rotating necklace got broke a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, that was the first scene I had an issue with. That wasn't even the worst. Okay, it's obviously the next one, the Caitlyn Vi scene. This is like the epitome. Basically, I guess for everyone, I don't know if you remember or not. Anyone
You did
listening right
hate
now.
this storyline the whole time last time.
Did I really? I love Caitlyn. Caitlyn's great.
Yeah, you were like, oh my god, it's the worst. I really love
Yeah.
Caitlyn, but this is obviously terrible. You'd say that constantly.
Yeah, so this is the epitome of everything wrong with Arcane. Like, firstly, the build-up was there was nothing. It's like there's no build-up in this. I guess it's the failure of the first scene to make me not feel anything. So when this happens here and Caitlyn's really sad and stuff, and there's like a funeral and it's like
so hold on, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the actual funeral scene, or
yeah, I'm talking about basically the big musical scene where it's black and white and grey, and Caitlyn's obviously not feeling good, and Vi's like watching, and there's like all this stuff, and it's all meant to make you feel like, oh my gosh, poor Caitlyn,
yeah,
you know, she's suffering and everything. So this, in one regard, firstly, doesn't feel like it has any build up to me. Maybe I just didn't care enough about Caitlyn or her mum.
Maybe if you had watched the last episode 3 seconds before you clicked onto season 2 because you were binge watching it in the year 2026, you would have felt it.
Maybe. But the second thing is, this is the prime example I'm going to go to going forward about the cringe thing that Arcane does of trying too hard to be clever. Like it's trying to do it's doing the black and white thing. Isn't that crazy? Because she's like so distant from everyone else. She's the only one here and no one else matters to her. And like, oh my gosh, it's all in like a different art style because like it's like all depressing and stuff. And like, it's just so it's like a different frame rate because like the world is moving so slowly around her because like she's so like going through trauma and stuff. Like it's the epitome of like, we're so pretentious and clever and we're trying so hard and look at us, aren't we cool? It's the thing that Arcane just does so much, and I don't like it at all.
Now, I never really got that impression of like, oh, it's trying too hard. I guess that is the impression I get when I think anything is bad in Arcane. But it's not, I don't know, the pretension doesn't annoy me. The like, maybe it is the cleverness that they think. It's just, to me, it's like, just generic. This is disgusting. To be generic is to be disgusting.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, and this is kind of another general overall point, is that each episode starts with like an AMV, and I am staunchly in defense of this. I think this is great because I love AMVs and I love timing music for things.
Like literally,
I think each episode opens with a musical sequence, right?
Well, not the first
one. Well, there's like a song
right?
and stuff is happening. Well, it's towards the beginning. Whatever.
That's a big difference.
Episode 3 definitely has one, but I don't know about episode 2. Anyway, this was a big thing that I see people complaining about, or sort of not really complaining about, but memeing on, like, oh, I can't wait for the AMV or something online. And also, it's something Minty really hated. But I'm here to defend it and say that I like it.
Yeah, I don't get the issue. Is it the fact that it's at the beginning of the episode?
Cringe and like, I think a lot of the YouTube comments are like, oh, Arcane wants to be an AMV more than it wants to be a TV show or something, because they're doing all of these insert songs with like different visuals to portray things. I feel like it did happen more than 3 times, but I feel like
there's a lot of scenes like that, right? Like even for instance, the bridge scene that you were talking about last season with Echo, like that fight, that's a whole musical. Like it's clearly like a song was there. Yeah.
Oh, another thing we should point out, EliteAri, is that they kept the song. Oh, the Midori.
Oh, that was the greatest moment in this episode. It was so great. I was like, I'm so glad they kept it.
I out a little bit when I saw it again. I was like, oh, they did.
And they made the visuals way cooler. It's like so much cooler. It's just like all the people in like clothing and stuff.
I don't remember the first ones, but that's okay.
Yep.
I'm not sure I remember that much of the second one, but I'll agree with you.
It's just like plain colors with characters like doing expressions, and they're wearing like simple clothing.
We're doing stuff. I remember that much.
Yep. And Mel's in it, and oh my goodness, Mel, my goodness, what a character. Anyway, now
does EliteAri really like Mel, or is he just making
she
fun
is
of
the most beautiful, most angelic like character design of all time, basically.
Everybody, you're a hypocrite, EliteAri. You've changed. You've actually taken my position on this. Nope. You wanted to have sex with this Caitlyn one. You were disgusting.
You know what?
All you talked about was how attractive she was and how she stood on this stool, and you loved it.
And now Mel is there too. Okay?
I think for the first. I think for the first 2 whole parts, I just referred to Mel as the hot one. So,
Mhm.
you know, you're taking my position, and it's embarrassing, and we see through you're trying to pivot now that Caitlyn is Hitler.
I mean, nothing is better than that Caitlyn stool scene, but I mean, still,
I
Mel is
still don't
great.
remember it, but I
She like
just
stands on a stool and she's like walking backwards and she's like engaged
she's
in
in like her linens EliteAri. How scandalous, I think, in
All
that
right.
scene, right?
I don't remember. Anyway,
Mike.
yeah.
Just
Just one
is bad.
There's just one more thing I want to hate on Arcane for. Okay, everything else will be great, and I like the rest of the stuff was great. But there's one more thing, which is there's a scene with the they're at the council, and there's only 3 of them now, right? There's the two women, Mel and the lady with the weird necklace thing, or the cool necklace thing.
Without a weird necklace.
Without it, sorry, yeah. And then there's the disabled guy. And he does the thing where he's like, then it's settled 2-1 because like they outvote Mel. And then at the end of the scene, they flip it around and she says it, and I'm like, this is the Arcane thing where they think they're trying to be so clever by trying to like.
Even I was like, okay, come on now.
Yep.
I can't wait for a great video essay to explain that they just did that to us, EliteAri. Can you believe it?
Yep.
One thing we did say in the last discussion, which is something we should definitely change, is that we both said, oh, we've never seen like an Arcane video before, and I think that would be hilarious for us to watch on one of our streams.
Oh, you know, I did make one, so
definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You only made the one, right?
I did. I made one video, and they referenced it in this season. I couldn't believe it. We'll get to it, I guess.
Well, that's crazy. You'll have to tell me about it. The funny thing is that the reason why you rewatched it when I first watched it and we made our first videos on it was because you were planning to make a new video that you never made.
I did
so
make
that's embarrassing.
It was the video I made. Actually, it was technically another video about powder that I didn't make, but I ended up making a powder one anyway, so it all worked out.
You had already made the powder one before that, right?
No, I rewatched Arcane to make it, and this idea that I made the video was based on our discussion. So, yep. Anyway,
so no, the cringe one you hate, you had made before it because you reference it in like every discussion.
I don't have any other Arcane videos. I just have. Oh, you mean the original one, like my one from years ago?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course that came out before. Yeah, it was many years ago.
So you made another one?
Yeah, I made a new one like after the Arcane stuff. Yeah. All right.
What was it called?
I don't remember. It's about like the parallel between Powder and Silco and drowning and all that. I don't know what it is.
I don't remember this video. I refuse to believe this video exists.
All right. Anyway, let's move on. The opening scenes, we talked about them. Kyle,
I'm typing on the laptop to find it, EliteAri. The microphone's going to come out because you wouldn't explain it to me, so this is going to be...
I unironically, I just don't remember what it's called. It's something about Powder and Silco or something. I don't know. The moment that defines Powder, I don't know, the fall of Powder, I have no idea. It could be anything. Anyway.
Maybe I just didn't watch it.
Yep. There is a new...
stream clip of me reacting to it.
Kyle, there is a new cast of characters, a new cast of enforcers, I guess I should say. We have this like
true, and that one big guy got a big introduction, so he must be a League of Legends character. This is like another big talking point, EliteAri, is how many times I feel like there were more times in this we were supposed to sway out about the great League of Legends characters.
Yep.
Minty agreed. Why Powder's falling scene is so blissful. 2 minutes long, 9 months ago. Can you believe it? It's even got the red watch bar here.
Yep.
It's only 2 minutes long. That's EliteAri for you. Now, this was definitely one of them. This big idiot is definitely a League of Legends character. I don't know about the other two.
Well,
the fish one's kind of unique looking.
Yeah.
And the other one's a dumb girl.
So when I first saw this big guy and heard him speak, I was like, oh my god, it's Vander, because he sounds like so similar and he looks exactly like him almost. So my assumption is it's his brother or something, like or a cousin or something, that somehow got separated and he's in the Overcity and Vander's in the
His
Undercity,
introduction to you was so bad, EliteAri. But it's just like monologuing while she's drunk, and it's the most generic thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
It's tolerable. I didn't have an issue
on the
with
stool.
Yeah.
Oh, it was bad.
It was fine.
But yeah, they introduced themselves to each other the first. I guess he could be keeping it a secret that he's the great Vander's brother. But something I had forgotten that you did spoil in our discussions was that Warbrick or whatever his name is Vander, and he's still getting teased at, I think, the end of every episode. Though that might be something else we're supposed to be ominously setting up. So we'll see. Also, he is in the trailer. I don't know if you watched the trailer. I even watched the preview for the next group of episodes that only came out a day ago.
Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen the preview. I think I did watch the trailer, but I don't remember anything from it. And I did know the Vander thing because my friends told me at the end of last season.
Yes, that's what you said.
Yeah.
And there was a helpful comment on our last discussion that went through and said, like, oh, this is a league character, this is a league character, this is a league character, this is... I think there was only one that wasn't a league character, that was Vander. And then in brackets it had, whoever the commenter was, had suspected to be a league character, which is obviously Warbrick, or whatever his name is. Warrick. And then we found out that Silco is not a League of Legends character, but a League of Legends auto battle character, which is like this second game they made in League where it was an auto battler. That's a type of video game, EliteAri. That was very, very popular in like 2019. I remember when it first came out. So that's pretty funny. And also, apparently, Mel's mother is going to be a League character.
Yes,
or maybe she is.
I think she is, and everyone says she's like really weak or something. So, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. How ironic. But speaking of characters, Carl, we have the big guy, okay? You know what, his introduction, it was okay, but I like him with his big shield and how he showed up that one time and used it. I was like, this is great. I'm a big fan of this guy.
He's got like no characterization.
He absolutely. Okay. And he's probably a bit too, I don't know why he's so important suddenly and why they chose him of all people, but it's sick.
Because he's Tarek from League. That's a name I made up a leader.
Yep.
There's so many League characters. I bet there's one called Tarek.
I'm sure there is. I guess I should say
a girl named Ari, right? What happens when she shows up?
I will be so excited. Yeah, I will say that none of the character names that would announced or anything, none of them stood out to me. I was like, oh, that's like a League of Legends character, but there were moments.
I feel like maybe they did say that guy's name at some point too, but I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool.
Okay. Anyway,
are there any new characters besides them?
Are there any new? Oh, my goodness, there is the greatest new character, the girl, the Enforcer girl, who is like talking about not Caitlyn, Vi. How about Vi is like a hero in this like Enforcer world, and I was so invested. I was so oh my god, in the ambush when the people came to the big speech that Mel was gonna give, and they like rammed into her car. I was like, her vehicle that she was driving, and it flipped over. I was like, oh my god, I hope she's not dead.
And she nearly died. I was like, oh, that's crazy. They just killed that character off. That's great that they introduced her as this like cool, optimistic character, and she's dead, but then she wasn't dead. So
which was great. I was so happy. But yeah, I've never I'm sure I have, but in this show at least, I've never been that invested in this minor character that came out of nowhere. So
EliteAri would like a character like that, huh, chat? It's right up his yucky alley. Gross.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, those are the like new, and then there's this other guy who apparently he's in the team, and I don't think he's ever said anything or done anything, but he's there too. You know the guy?
Which one?
The guy. I don't know if he's a fish, but he's like another person on this squad of like
he's
big
blue.
Shield guy.
Okay, we know who we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't think he's spoken a single thing, but yeah.
Yeah. And EliteAri, we're supposed to be talking about my notes here. So, you just shut me off, but I think we've probably gone over all of them. So let me just recap before I can move on completely. EliteAri brings up in the early episodes are more interesting in retrospect because of where the characters end up. And now reflecting on that point in my Arcane journey, I would tend to agree. I do think it would be interesting to go back to episode 1 and see Victor and Jace meet or something.
Yep.
Or everybody being friends or little things like that. So I guess I'm giving EliteAri his props there. I have too much recap there. We already talked about that. At the end of the first discussion, I made a bunch of predictions that you wanted to mock me for because I was calling the show generic. But then I got them all right, except for one, EliteAri, that has since been made right. Do you remember what this one that I got wrong was, that has now been proven right?
Yeah, so firstly, I don't remember arguing against you to this generic, so that's pretty funny. Because I guess now in these days, I could easily imagine Arcane being generic.
Because you didn't want to reveal that you didn't like the rest of the show, so you were being very clever.
Okay, well, I don't know what your prediction is. I have no idea.
It was V becoming an enforcer, and you giggled at me, and I just was like, dumb fuck, who was right in the end? So that was me. I'm a genius. I predicted that at the very begining.
Wow, well done.
Also, that had been spoiled for me, because in between watching the things, there was some sort of tweet about how, about some, League fans mocking Arcane fans for thinking that V would never become an enforcer, because apparently that's, her whole thing or something in actual League. Now, this brings us up to another one of our favorite collaborators here, EliteAri, the great Mealy Vinland Saga, who's been tweeting a lot about Arcane. He thinks the show is just tremendous, I think. I'm sure he'll be listening to us right now and being very mad at us for shitting on this silly, dumb show that's not good at all. But Mia does tweet some things just about how much he loves it and everything like that. And there was a tweet where he said... imagine being really into V as a character because we all are EliteAri. And you start to look up old League stuff. No, the joke is that we hate her, EliteAri.
When you say, I just don't know, because there's so many people. There's the generic audience watching this show. There's us. There's Mia. There's Mia's
yes,
people
they
who
like
follow
him,
Mia.
but I'm speaking of us, EliteAri. Everything's about us.
Right.
But anyway, Me was just bringing up that there's a bunch of like 2016 lore about all these characters that are from like a completely different generation. I think me was specifically talking about sexualization and like how if you go and like watch, like if you really like a lesbian V in this show and you go back and she looks like a girly girl or something, or her boobs are out and everything like that, it would be a little weird to go back. There are a bunch of like cinematics for League that would be very interesting to watch in retrospect, whatever lore they've got going on in there. I don't think I want to watch them until Arcane is over. It's super interesting. I had to fight everything in my life.
How is it? They're completely different characters. What would be the interest?
Yes, that's the whole interesting part.
They're not even adapting the same thing. How is that interesting at all?
To see Jinx and V interact.
Well, just because they have the same name and they roughly look similar. That's what's interesting about. Okay,
this is why I like Devilman Crybaby.
So I guess you like looking at all the fan art as well, right? We love fan art. Fan art's great.
Yes, all the fan art of looking at different characters, a bunch of things. That's why I love concept art so much. And when things are in different forms, like when you find out The Last of Us, there was supposed to be 4 in Ellie's group instead of 3, and it was like her ex-girlfriend. It was like a love 4-way instead, and there's like art of them all together, and one of them dying, and which one was originally supposed to die, and it's just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, we love
learning about the concepts and the lead up and everything. That's why we all want to read this great Variety article about how it was originally supposed to be 5 seasons.
And that's why we want to play League of Legends, right? True.
No, we don't want to play League of Legends. You don't get any lore in that. But a very interesting thing that is interesting is that a bunch of these League characters have little individual lines when they come up against individual players. And apparently when Warwick or whatever fights V or something, they like comment about like, who taught you how to punch or something. And it's obviously a great callback to the great Arcane, except Arcane calling back to that. So that's very interesting. I'm just so excited to get into all of this. Okay, EliteAri, I'll spoil myself on everything. And I'll watch all those things before we reconjoin in a few days to talk about the next 3 episodes, since you just don't care about them anymore.
I absolutely.
But I'm just saying, Mia. I'll report back. I'll look into all these great. It is funny, like these are. Arcane to me is kind of the epitome of like a modern show made for modern audiences. You know what I'm saying, EliteAri? We're dogless over here. We love the critical drinker. I feel like it has a lot of modern sensibilities. So to even see like an early 2010s take on like video game girls well, how interesting, EliteAri. I just can't wait to look into all of it. And Mia's making that great point on Twitter. We love it.
No, it's incredibly boring, and I disagree. And it's the least interesting part of this story.
Me and EliteAri have different interests. If it wasn't obvious, he likes Mushoku Tensei.
Yeah. And Kyle loves
Mock Me for
so many different comic books. He's a big comic book fan. That Kyle. My goodness. All right. So now we have major storylines. Okay.
EliteAri, I got like 3 words left in this note, and then we never have to talk about our previous discussions again.
All right, good.
But I basically got them all right. I got the wrong. All right, I already did that. EliteAri, go ahead.
All right, we have a few major storylines in this. The first one, the council and Piltover is in shambles. Any thoughts on this?
Hold on, we're talking about new characters. We didn't talk about the daughter yet, EliteAri. What are we doing here?
Okay, go ahead. What's the daughter's name? Let's start with
Jinx has this cool little daughter, and nobody cares about her name, but she's really cute, and she follows her around, and it's like a little parallel, and then she saves and nearly shoots that dumb V-bitch when the great Jinx is fighting her, and that's just terrific, and she's obviously the best new character and way cooler. And also, EliteAri, I went down a rabbit hole today where I was re-listening to our discussion, and we were talking about the great Marcus, EliteAri. Do you remember the great Marcus?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, there's no way you
fucking almost killed Silco, yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. He had a daughter that we threatened one time that had orange hair, so I was trying to figure out if this was the girl somehow, but I gave up on that pursuit and that great fan theory. I don't think that's the case. I
assume this was a League of Legends character, unironically.
Oh, that's even cooler. I can't wait to see her great cinematics.
Yeah.
But yes, anyway, I'm sure we'll talk more about her when we get to the great thingies, but you want to talk about fucking Piltover or something, so go ahead.
No, if we're talking about the characters, there was that guy, the animal guy that had a goofy cartoon voice. I don't know what he was. You know the guy? No, not that guy. The new guy, the villain guy who fought Jinx that one time and they killed him.
What the fuck are
he was like a dog or something. I don't know what he was. He was like his weird animal thing.
Oh, the little fur rat dude.
Yeah, that thing. That was weird. Is that like a League of Legends character? It felt like one. I
feel like it had to be. It was such a design.
Yep. And it felt very out of place. I don't know.
Kinda, maybe. I feel like we must have seen him last season, right? In like one of the meetings that Silco had where he said, "You pieces of shit are gonna listen to me."
It does feel like that.
So yeah, I don't know. He was fine. He was funny, and he was like the bad guy for this little period, I guess.
Yep. Then he died.
For episode 2, at least. Because Jinx wasn't in episode 1, what a great hold-off, but then they didn't really do anything cool to dramatically reintroduce her. Her monologue just started, and it was cool because she was letting Silco go in the water or something, and that was our favourite scene from last time. We referenced it all the time.
See, that is the scene referencing my video, which was about the drowning metaphor. how
Oh,
Powder is constantly drowning and she's like being paralleled with Silco, and here she is, you know, pushing Silco even further while she's drowning herself. Oh my goodness, it's so sad. Yeah. What other characters were there?
But she hugged him as he went into the water, and it was very cute. And I said, this show will never be good again without these two together. But now Jinx has got a daughter, so it's okay.
It is true though. There is a giant hole left by the absence of Silco specifically. Toward the end of that show, he was the most interesting thing in it. Especially like when I think of the show at the end, I think of like the scene with him talking to Jace, right? Above, like in Piltover, and talking about how like he basically gets everything he wants, but he gives it up for Jinx and all that. And him talking to the statue of Vander and all that. Like there's really good scenes with Silco. He's just,
you were glazing both those scenes in my ears
so
about 50
good.
minutes ago. I can't believe you got the same talking points nearly a year later. Can you believe we only did Arcane earlier this year, EliteAri? That's crazy.
Yeah, I can believe it. Actually, no, I can't believe it because I don't know if it's on my list. But yep, crazy. Silco's gone. What a shame. Everyone's bonding over the loss of Silco as well. Yeah. All right.
Does the show have stuff to replace it? The Jinx, I don't know. We haven't started talking about it yet, but like I feel like Jinx has no uwu moments this season, which is kind of annoying. But the uwu moments we've already had. Now, when we say uwu moments, Leo, we think of crazy, funny little Jinx uwu moments, of course. She really doesn't have any of them outrightly here. A lot of those worked because they were juxtaposing off of Silco or the Arm Girl, who is now a new favorite character. Comedy gets you very invested in characters. This is true very much in the world of wrestling. Every sort of great popular wrestler comes out of sort of comedy, especially after like the year 1995 or maybe 1999. And it definitely is the case where comedy can endear you to someone immediately. And I think that's what's happened with Jinx. So now that I can take the more serious moments without thinking they're annoying, or I'm very invested in Jinx when she's not being funny. So all of her moments really were serious here with the little girl, or with the hand girl, the arm girl, and things like that. To the point where I am invested on her side even when she's not doing the stuff I learned to like her for. So that kind of fills the hole a little bit. Jinx is still holding down the fort. I do think there is a lot of intrigue with this lore stuff that's going on. But I don't know if we want to talk about that yet. So I guess maybe we can fill the hole with Silco, because I definitely do think that the V stuff isn't that interesting. The Caitlyn stuff is not that interesting. The J stuff, of course, I hate. The Victor stuff, of course, I hate. And I think that's all the storyline.
Yeah, I guess if
we're boring as hell.
Yeah, if we're ranking them, I think the Caitlyn one's the most boring. I have no interest in that, and it is the most generic thing as well. I guess we'll see where it ends up. Maybe it'll do a subversion or something.
I don't know. I didn't expect her to be the bad guy.
Not from the immediate scene where everything's in black and white and she's like clearly
like I meant
well.
going into the season.
Oh yeah.
But no, okay. I thought she was gonna like she was gonna have a moment and V was gonna snap her out of it.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, anyway, that's the worst storyline. What else was there? Obviously, Heimerdinger is the most boring thing ever, so anything involving him is boring. However, the stuff at the end of the episode 3 was pretty cool, where they're like going into different realities and stuff, and they're being splintered like the Last Jedi, and it looks so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I am.
But that's only lore stuff, and I talked about how it visually wasn't cool.
Visually, it's
remind
really cool.
me, EliteAri. Is the part where he's sneaking through somewhere in season 2? Because that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's like going through a vent and he's like trying to be funny. Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, I agree.
And then Jace was just there. People like this show, EliteAri. They think it's like a 10.
I don't know if Heimerdinger has any big fans out there. Maybe like Eric from Blind Wave or something. I don't know, but I don't think many people are big.
He kind of looks like Eric from Blind Wave.
I don't know about that. No.
He's got a beard and stuff.
Anyway, what are the other what are the storylines we've got?
I was trying to think like, what does Jace do? But he's like trying not to get killed. He gets
Jace
chased by a Chainsaw Man.
Jace is better this season.
Chainsaw Man.
Jace is better this season than he was last season. He's just so sad about Victor, and he goes and talks to Caitlyn, and that was cute. I think he's better this season. He's okay.
Have we really consolidated it all down? Like, there's like Jinx versus the Topsiders, and then there's intrigue with the Mother. Is that really the two storylines? And the tree is getting who gives a fuck. Well, I guess Victor went somewhere.
No, there's a lot
Victor saved that one guy.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's epic. He
the Victor storyline.
That was cool.
I do like the Victor storyline. I'm interested to see where he goes. He's being portrayed as like a messiah figure, right? Like healing these people. And...
Can I make my prediction now?
Go ahead. Yeah, there's no order in there.
Crazy, EliteAri. Do you think Victor time travels and he's the guy that saves Jace when they were little? When he was little, do you remember this scene? When he's dying in the snow.
They even
and he does
showed
the magic thing
in this episode 3 bit.
Yeah, Did they?
Yeah, they
Oh
did.
yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about.
It's not impossible.
I'm not confident in this being a prediction. It's just a thing I thought of because there are things that weren't explained in season 1, and that is one of them. And that's like the origin of magic or something. So that's going to be a big lore thing. We've also got this ball thing that I completely had forgotten about, and I only remembered when I was listening to our discussion today. And we had great jokes about how it was going to be an AI and it was going to make AI art, and we were just having so much fun. Me and you, funniest guys.
Yeah.
But that has to be something. And then I had completely forgotten that Mel had a brother that had died, and that's why the mother had come here recently, and she was like kind of scared of this guy, which is like this Black Rose thing that's happening now, which I do think is cool in an intrigue way. But it's also, there was also a prediction we had in our last discussion where we were like, oh, is this going to be like a big bad guy that we all have to unify around? And that's why we're bringing up like the cycle of hatred and things like that. And there's no way, right? But also, I can see it. But also, I feel like the mother storyline is just being set up for like, oh, she thinks Caitlyn's going to be her puppet, but actually Caitlyn's going to get the better of her, and he's going to overwin her, and then Caitlyn's going to go to throw out the mother and Mel, but then Jace is going to come into conflict with Caitlyn, and my goodness, they're going to have some drama, etc., etc. And then Caitlyn takes over and throws Jace out, and that's where he goes and finds Victor again, and that's where Victor kills him and something. Can you believe Jace is a League of Legends character? What a dork. Anyway,
I can.
He's got a dumb hammer, I'm assuming. Cringe. I guess I just went through a bunch of predictions. Who cares about any of that, huh?
So Victor's gonna be time traveling. I guess we'll see. I'm open to the idea.
Well, it's just magic, bro. Oh, and did you remember Victor comes out of this dumb ball and he's like, this thing killed my girlfriend. And I was like, oh my god,
I almost cried. I almost cried when I was listening to this. I was like, oh, she was there. Like that last time. My god, yeah. That was actually, of this entire 3 episodes, I got so, I actually got so emotionally invested. Yep.
He just walks out and it's like, oh, the Victor and Jace breakup. We built it up all last season like he was going to be jealous, and then it was just, he saved his life, but he didn't want to be, he was supposed, shut up, he was supposed to die.
It killed Sky, oh my god. And remember, they were like together as kids in the Undercity, and you saw that flashback, and oh, it was so good. That's, you know what?
The Great Sky.
Best part of Arcane is that relationship.
I could see the Great Sky once again, but I look up and all I see is a car.
Don't worry, she's guiding Victor. We see her every now and then in this season. It's pretty great. She's the footsteps guiding him.
That is a thing too.
Yep.
So anyway, hold on, while we're doing all this vague bullshit.
Yeah.
So the stuff at the end is all Warwick stuff. What's going on there? It's like,
I mean, they're just teasing Vander coming back. I don't know what's. Yeah, I have no idea.
Because I couldn't tell if they were all that or if I was supposed to be thinking of something else.
That's my assumption. Also, they're like collecting wolves and merging wolves with Vander or something. I don't know. It's gonna be something boring. We'll see.
Those wolves are from League when you're fighting people in the jungle.
Oh wow. Look at that.
One of the things I remember from my 2 League of Legends offline games in 2016 or whenever. I remember I recalled something because in like episode 2 of the first season, there's like in a jar or whatever, there's one of the creatures, and I knew what it was, and you were very impressed last time. So you're equally as impressed now with the double-headed wolf that this scientist man, who apparently is also a League character, has Singed, created. Yeah, something like that. It's only 2 seasons, so I guess the fun speculative thing is, are we all coalescing to that all this is like the same plot line? Like, is Warwick part of the Black Roses thing? And because I'm assuming what's happening with Warwick in this generic ass show is that he's going to be a big dumb monster, and he's going to start destroying things, and then he's going to have to fight Vi, and she's going to be punching him and be like, and she's going to realize that it's Vander, and then there's going to be a single moment where it looks like the wolf has a little bit of humanity in him, and then and then she gets the jump on him and wins or something stupid like that.
Yeah, so this feels like, I completely agree. That is exactly where it feels like it's going. But I think it has to be too generic for Arcane. There's no way it's going to do it. I feel like the show has to know.
But this shit is generic as fuck.
This was an incredibly popular show. It's received as like one of the most highly rated shows of all time. Everyone almost universally loves like at least season 1. They have to know that they can't have the emotional climax, which I think will have to do something with Vander and the sisters or whatever. They can't have that be like it can't be that generic. It's got to be something interesting. Like they made episode 3 of last season. It's just so interesting. It's so cool.
It's trash.
It is like easily like top 10 episodes of all time of anything. And this show will never ever top that ever. if they can do that, they can definitely find a way to make this Vander stuff good. And I agree that right now it feels like it's not going to be set up to be something interesting. The fact that they're placing so much emphasis on this feels like it has to be planned more than like
it is the big shot in the trailer too, right? And everybody in the comments is like, Warwick, brother. But I don't know if they care about Vander at all, or they're just excited that their favorite league thing is going to be in the
Kyle,
show.
the people making the show are smart, obviously, okay? They're overly smart. They think they're so smart that they're making it cringe. They know what they're doing, and it's going to be some good thing that at least the generic audience is going to love. Now, the question is it actually going to be lovable by people who aren't just that generic audience who have seen this stuff a million times? I don't know. Maybe it'll just be like the generic thing done really well. I don't know.
Because there's no way this monster dude shows up and he's speaking. Because that would be interesting. If Vander actually came back, I guess that would be interesting. Now, I don't give a flying fuck about Vander.
He is absolutely...
He wasn't interesting at all. He was retarded. He was dumb.
Yeah,
he was boring.
He is absolutely going to have a way of communicating with the sisters. There's no way that you bring this character back and he doesn't talk to them somehow.
I feel like there's no interest in even a real Vander coming back and talking to Jinx.
Well, you could do the
whole thing is the B relationship, right?
You could easily do a Star Wars thing where it's like, you have Ahsoka. I mean, no one's gonna understand. You're not gonna understand this, but you have Ahsoka who is like
I am your father.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's the lame one. Okay, we have Ahsoka who is Anakin's Padawan, and later on she runs into him as Vader, and they have this insane interaction where it's like, "Look what's become of you." And
I saw this in the Mauler video.
Yeah. You could do something like that with Vander, where Vander is Vader, and it's like you break through, like you cut him open because you don't realize it's Vander, and then you see Vander underneath, and it's like, what has he done to you? I don't know. It could
Hold
be.
on.
Yeah.
It's so simple. We fight him, we restrain him, we have Victor use his dumb magic, and Vander comes back.
No, this isn't like I can't. That's so boring. It's gonna be interesting. I believe in the show a little bit. Okay.
This is going to be the funny thing, because EliteAri is going to get his hopes and dreams destroyed, just like Donald Trump winning the presidency.
Kyle, he has faith in the people who made Arcane. This is a smart show, and I know because they brought back the visual metaphor of them drowning in the water. That's a smart thing. You have to be a smart director to like actually keep that in mind.
They wanted to have a Silco moment because he's the coolest character, and they killed him off.
No, they're too smart. You can't do that without having a plan for
I have no faith in them doing anything interesting, EliteAri. Zero.
They are going to do it. I believe in them. Okay, I
was a hater last time. Guy. That's interesting, but they did it the worst way possible to where it was boring as fuck.
It's gonna be good. I believe in the show.
Can you believe they shoehorned the kiss in there too, EliteAri, just to be like, all right, we got that out of the way. Let's go to Caitlyn, bad guy, with her and V. It came out of nowhere too. It was terrible.
No, it definitely didn't come out of nowhere. That was just like it was like a kiss. They've been developing their relationship.
It's not that the kiss, like obviously they were always gonna kiss, but in the scene it was like, what? Oh my god, it's already happening. Okay.
I remember thinking it was good. I don't actually remember the context of it, but I do remember thinking it worked well.
It's like literally right before they fight Jinx.
Was it? I don't remember.
Oh, another thing.
But wait, was that Vi's attempt to kind of keep them together? Because she feels that Caitlyn is like distancing herself from her? Or was because that's vaguely what I remember, but I don't remember if that was what I'm thinking of or not.
I thought Caitlyn kissed her, but I can't.
Maybe it could be. I don't remember.
There's also
I don't know. The thing I liked, wait, before I forget, actually.
Vi has the thing.
Yeah, the thing I did like on this relationship was at the end where Vi starts crying out of nowhere. And it's like, it feels like he comes out of nowhere. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, she shouldn't be crying. She's the tough
No, that was really good because she shouldn't be crying and she's the tough person. And she is. And it's
that's what I was just saying.
Exactly. So I beat you there, Kyle, to the punch. It was great. We loved it. Yeah.
Because Vi kept saying, like, everybody around me always changes. And you promised me you won't change. And then she changed. That's crazy.
No, but the good thing isn't the fact that she's crying in that scene, which is great. Yeah, that is the good thing. The actual good thing is that she just isn't crying, and then suddenly she is. It's so sudden. The sudden transition to crying, without any build-up or anything, just crying out of nowhere is the good thing. I like that a lot about that scene. Yep.
Remember when Caitlyn's dad was like, what is this mudblood doing here?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, fucking sucks.
You gotta get over the small things like that, okay? That's just the show. It's fine.
I refuse.
You can tolerate it.
There was also a funny moment in our previous discussions where somebody actually said "cycle of hatred" and we both just laughed at it. There's no way, right? It really is like I never want to hear that after all that Attack on Titan discourse. I never want to hear it again.
It is true.
There's no way, right? There's no way. I'm half convinced that Jinx and V are gonna fight on the same side, like at the end, because I had assumed, and this was a prediction I made back in our last discussion, was obviously the show ends like it's them fighting, and I think I even predicted then that like episode 6 of season 2 was gonna be their first fight, and then episode 9 would be their last fight. And I would have assumed going into this that we have to, and the trailer is all about that, and then we have this fight in episode 3. I don't think they're gonna fight again.
It did feel like this was the
So
big
is it
fight.
because there is a setup now? They both fight warring. Okay, that seems like an episode 6 thing. So that could get that out of the way. I don't know. What's the resolution between these dumb sisters? There is the parallel of like, oh, the blue-haired girl that she shouldn't have liked, she likes, and the one she should have liked, she didn't like, and she's gonna end up back with Jinx against Caitlyn. Now that's kind of interesting. I guess that's how you put V into the... Because what the fuck is the final conflict, EliteAri? So what I'm thinking now
go ahead,
is it's Caitlyn versus Jinx, and V's sitting there like, what do? I just love both my girls. And she has to kill Caitlyn in the end because Caitlyn's Hitler. But also, I feel like Jinx has to die at the end, right? She's like crazy and evil and stuff, even though we all love her the most. So,
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck's going on in this shit story. But also, this Black Rose thing has to be the bad guy or something. Or is that an episode 6 thing? That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I think it
from the preview.
I'd prefer not to know about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I think it depends because firstly, the show is actually ending, which means they truly have the opportunity to do whatever they want, like this season. Like, is it gonna end on a tragedy? Is it gonna end with like a happy note? Is it gonna end like very symbolically?
Do they all
like...
get teleported into a 4-laneway arena by some crazy alien, and they're forced to fight for eternity in
that would be
MOBA
really
combat?
Cool. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have
That
any
would be
predictions on how this is ending.
That would be
really cool.
the silliest, greatest ending.
Yeah.
But everybody would hate it. I feel like
I would
you can
love
only
it.
do that without
Oh
resolving
my
a bunch
God.
of like character stuff.
All
But
right.
it would be terrific.
Yeah.
Because it would be so like wacky, and like then the message would be like very on the nose that you're supposed to go play the game or something. It'd be like, oh, it was just an ad the whole time, and making and incorporating that in would be funny and meta and stuff.
I think the ultimate ending, which there's no, I don't think they would do it, but it would be really cool to have everyone fail and for the world to like explode or something. Like the all their failure. Yeah, basically the Devilman ending, where like all the bad
science went too far, EliteAri.
Yeah, not necessarily that, but the thing is like all the bad stuff they've done has like responded in kind and has destroyed everything. Because like they're talking about how every action has like an equal and opposite reaction, and it would be cool if like it is a complete failure at the end, and it's like, no, because we didn't learn our lessons, like nothing was able to be done, and it all ended in tragedy. And the thing is, I feel like the show is, again, they're too smart for their own good, and they want to have like a big thematic thing at the end, which is going to be like a positive message, but I hope they don't. Like, it would be, I don't know.
Every theme in the show is utter dog shit. I don't
know about that.
And there are just, well, like, the tree is getting corrupted, and we like, the whole show is clearly being, like, Jace persisting in this, like, dangerous thing he doesn't know anything about, so we have to punish that thematically, I think. And Heimerdinger has to have his moment where he's like, ha-ha! And then, but also, we tease, because Heimerdinger's like, back in my day, the whole world fell through, or whatever, and, like, that has to happen, right? We have to have some sort of apocalyptic thing. That's, like, probably going to be the Victor storyline in some sense. So there's just, like, certain threads that have to go somewhere. So we have to have Jace realize that making hedge tech or whatever it's called is bad.
Hex tech,
and that making weapons out of it is bad, because we have to say that's bad because we're boring. We have to...
But they're doing the thing. They're definitely doing the thing where it's like, there is a good side to this. Like, all the people are being uplifted, the society is great, and, like, there is a good element to the hex tech. Like, it's not just, they're not just universally
started to introduce, like, there's like a natural thing, and it's going to be like the nature one is good and the human one is bad, I think, right? Because they're saying that with the tree, like, oh, this is like a natural rune, and we're over here with Echo, and we have a big tree, and everything looks green, and that's good. And civilization and what do you call it? Urbanization is bad. So, like, we'll get through and they'll learn their lesson, and Echo will wag in the face, and he'll continue to do experiments in the tree, but it'll be self-replenishing, and he'll have a plant on his fucking windowsill or something. Fuck, there was a point I was getting to before that, EliteAri. Do you recall?
No.
But anyway, we're going through things that have to happen. So Jinx has to be punished. That's why I think she's going to die. And because we love her so much, it'll be a big, tragic, emotional ending. So I think I kind of hope that doesn't happen, but maybe that'll happen. There's going to be a war between the thingies and the thingies, obviously.
Well, they've taken Mel or something, apparently. I don't know exactly what happened, but... I mean, maybe you know from the preview.
I don't know anything about what you're talking
about.
No,
like remember Mel, the rose enveloped her and she like was taken away or something?
No, I'm talking about more immediately between Jinx and Caitlyn. Like they have to like the whole Piltover versus Zorn or whatever the fuck it's called. They're gonna have a real battle. That's definitely a second arc thing, I think. That's a little informed by the preview, but that's okay.
That's interesting.
There's
How
other like
like
dumb thematic
yeah.
things that are boring that they have to do EliteAri. Like Victor has to have like a tragic ending or something because it's just we've been sympathetic to him the whole time, and he's gonna like heal people, but he's gonna get overtaken by the big mythical lore bad guy that saved Jace when he was little or something, and that's gonna tie into he's gonna cause the fucking apocalypse thingy accidentally, and Jace is gonna have to kill him to stop it, just like the great Logan had to kill Jean Grey at the end of X3 just because he couldn't get through to her EliteAri. We love X3 references. There's other ones. What else? What other storylines we got? Caitlyn is obviously dying because she's an evil bitch.
Vi is gonna survive.
The mother is obviously getting outsmarted and is gonna die because she's being conniving. Was that twist any cool, EliteAri? It was almost cool, but not really.
The coolest thing. Oh my god, Kai! When she like did the salute and like hit her chest a few times, like this is the coolest scene ever. Oh my god! And there's like the music playing and stuff. Oh, it was so much cooler than Attack on Titan. Oh my god! And like the bright blue background when she's doing it, it's so cool. This is like the best salute ever. The when Ambessa is like doing it at the end, like to look at Caitlyn and it's like staring at her.
The Wall Street jerking off thing is EliteAri's favorite.
I haven't seen that, so in fairness, maybe it's a reference. I don't know. Yeah.
It's not a reference. It's just like a shut up, EliteAri.
Yeah.
Right. What was I just saying?
I don't know.
Luke Flame. The twist was okay. The mother's obviously out of here. Goodbye. She failed. What other characters do we got?
She's definitely gonna die in a fight trying to save Mel or something, right? That's like the most generic thing she could do.
No, I feel like Mel's gonna get rid of her.
That would be cool.
Because she's like conniving. Yeah. That's obviously the setup, right? She's gonna overtake her mother and become the true matriarch.
I thought you said she's gonna kill her. Like she's gonna like.
No, I feel like
that'd be sick.
Like all of her mother's guards become Mel's guards or something, and she says, "You're a banished mother." And the mother will have a solemn moment where she's like, "Oh, I'm sort of proud of you that you beat me," and she passes the baton and she walks off into the I'm gonna retire or something. You're a genius, or she's got like a stab wound in her and she's walking off to fall over and die or something lame.
She does the Thorgil thing. She runs away and never comes back.
Oh, true. That would be epic. Epic. You're so smart, EliteAri. Arcane's not that smart though. God, Thorgil, what a character.
Yep. He's coming back. Okay, he's not. All right. That'd be crazy though.
He's gonna swim the strait. That's some me-related Vinland humor for everybody. That's all the characters. There's no characters in the show. Heimerdinger is going to be right in the end because he's a dumb nature furball, and the nature is good message is going to be the message. The daughter thing is interesting, EliteAri. This is the most interesting thing. What's going on there? Is she the next Jinx?
I mean, honestly, they might have done all they could with her at this point. Like, I mean, there's a lot they could obviously do, but I feel like you could also just end it here and they're done. No. Like, I don't know.
There's another, we could speculate about time skip. I know the answer because I watched the preview. But I guess, do you think we're going to get a time skip like we did after the first act of season 1?
No, and the only reason I think that is because I think if the Enforcers are going to the Underground, it'll be a very swift, decisive win in their favor. There is nothing that could fight them if they go in with their Hex Tech. So
Jinx will explode them all at once. It'll be epic.
It doesn't matter. The only reason that she was able to do that is because she had Hex Tech. And now if they have Hex Tech and they're going with all this giant army to go down there, they're going to win. There's no contest. Like Jace even pointed this out, why he had so much pressure with against Silka, right? Whereas like in our one confrontation, we found out that we were hopelessly outmatched. And if we decided to go down there, we would destroy you. That's what I think is being set up now, which is like a complete one-sided massacre, basically. I guess we'll see.
Well, Jinx is going to win, and that's all I have to say about that. Now,
I agree broadly.
The Underground. Oh, wasn't the scene where Caitlyn busts in and tries to take control so bad, EliteAri?
No, it was cool because she like had a gun, and it was the really cool transition between Jace making the gun and her like using the gun. No, she's great. I love her. She's the best. It's the best performance, second best character design after Mel. We love Caitlyn.
Oh, I saw it because again I was looking at a bunch of tweets today. Because EliteAri, I retweeted that great Ellie and Dina art that turned out to be Vi and Caitlyn art that I was mad about, and then I unretweeted. Now that tweet is a little contentious because people don't know what I meant by that. Because I think, for context, let's explain Kyle Entertainment's tweets here. I retweeted a piece of art that was V and Caitlyn apparently. Then I unretweeted it because I assumed it was Ellie and Dina because
they were naked on top of each other for reference. Yeah.
They were, and one had black hair and one had like red hair. So obviously it's Ellie and Dina, of course. And one has a shortcut, just like Ellie has it towards the end of the game. Obviously Ellie and Dina. I realized this isn't a great piece of The Last of Us Part 2. Oh my god, me and Minty had a moment where
we're not talking about this.
Yes, we are. We had a moment where we both considered for a second just how great the gap between how good characters Ellie and Dina are compared to these shitty Arcane.
Yeah, okay, whatever. We're not here to talk about The Last of Us.
Back to this week. We are always here to talk about The Last of Us.
No, we are not.
Kill yourself.
We're going to move on.
Now, we're done talking about The Last of Us, EliteAri.
All right.
The point is that people mistook my tweet, I think, for thinking that I thought it was Jinx and V making out and that it was incestual.
That's what I thought. Are you telling me that's not what that was?
No, it was because I thought it was Dina and Ellie.
Oh, it actually was the Dina.
The Last of Us, whereas I don't like Arcane, so why would I retweet shitty Arcane?
Oh, wow. That's why I liked your tweet, because I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, he's making an incest joke. That's funny. But, okay, I guess
Minty didn't get it either. I was ashamed of him. That's why... Why do you think I just brought up The Last of Us Part 2 out for no reason?
That's why I thought, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go in this tangent here where he's just going to talk about this. Oh, my God.
First of all, I'll make up the tangent now, just to spite you, EliteAri.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, well, you
anyway,
also forgot, when we're talking about characters here, you forgot about the new council of people underground. You have the men with the small glasses. You remember them? Small round glasses. They're in Silco's council. They're one of the 3 remaining parties. I guess 2 now.
Oh, no, I thought they were new characters, but I assume they can't have been.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, they were new because I don't remember them.
They had to have been there season 1. There's no way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure all of the underground people are there. They just were very minor characters, if anything. And there was the girl. There's also a girl there. I don't know what...
Chainsaw Man? That was a girl?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We saw her son die last time, and she was mad this time. That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't remember that at all.
I remembered.
There's like a scene where like they're all fading away from the table, right? I assume it's one of the Jinx scenes.
Yeah, they're dying one by one, yeah.
And Jinx is going to be in charge soon with her new right-hand man. She ain't got no right hand, EliteAri. It's a right hand. That was pretty cool. She fought somebody. Who did she... Oh, she was beating the fuck out of Kate.
Wasn't that a... No, not that. I was thinking about the cool scene where she had like a slot machine on her arm. Wasn't that awesome?
Now, Minty wanted me to ask you a question about this to try and do a gotcha, but I didn't understand the gotcha he wanted me to get you with. So he was mad and then told me not to ask you. No, I don't think so. He hasn't seen that shit. So I was supposed to ask you something about whether or not it was a jackpot at the end, and there's like a joke that we're both missing, or like a point. So she just like... It was just a wacky weapon, right?
There's a weapon with like a slot machine, and then if you, depending on what it rolls, then you get like a different ability. You get a different attack. Yeah. Yeah,
right? So I don't know what the fuck he was trying to point out that was like, we're both going to miss, but if you want to explain it in the comments.
I guess when I was...
Everybody got it but us, apparently.
Sometimes I'm watching something and I'm like, it's so incredibly obvious what's going to happen. Let me pause and like literally say out loud my prediction so I have it on record, you know? And at this moment I paused when it was right at the end and they were like focusing on the thing spinning and I'm like, okay, it's so obvious that it has to be that all 3 are going to be the same thing. There's no way it's going to be the case. It's going to be like the last one is going to be something different. It's going to be a subversion. Obviously, there's no way they're going to do the obvious thing, right? And they did it. They did the obvious thing. All 3 were the same. And I was like, I can't believe this. This is crazy.
That was one of the moments where the stylization was like too much for me, where every attack was like in a different weird stylized form and it was doing a weird thing.
I don't have
But it ended up being a grin, EliteAri. Haha, like the Jinx grin. Isn't that just so cool? Because she made the weapon.
There was an interesting visual parallel going on here toward the end of the show, or the end of episode 3, where we are seeing the world fracturing, right? Everything using hex tech is like showing shadows of itself. Did you notice that? Like when for instance, when Vi's weapons are like falling down and she can't use them and they're like shattering and like moving around and everything, it kind of looked like the way that Jinx would see the world last season, where she would see like weird like shadows of like things that were moving around and. I was like, oh, is there something going on here? Like, obviously it's like a symbolic thing.
Jinx is the chosen one.
No, I think it's like a symbolic thing about like the world that she perceive versus the world that people.
The world's gone crazy.
Yeah, maybe. That was kind of cool. I don't know why I brought that up, but yep, hex deck, crazy. All right.
Remember when they kissed and she had to take the gloves off to pick her up? That was part of the kiss scene.
I don't remember, but I'll believe it.
And whenever she takes the gloves off, like the smoke comes out of the gloves.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I mean, we've actually talked about a lot of stuff. What else is there?
We have.
I guess we can talk about... Let's just talk about the fight that Jinx and Vi had. Were you on the edge of your seat? Did you think someone was going to die? Did you think this was
but for the wrong reasons. It's because Minty made it seem like somebody died in this fight because he was responding to somebody else in the Discord saying where... I think Miller said, like, oh, obviously nobody's going to die in this shit show. And then Minty, like, reacted and said tee-hee or something.
Because Jinx lost a finger. Oh my god, the middle finger.
Maybe, but no, he just told me afterwards that the thing he was tee-heeing about was Caitlyn being the bad guy and becoming Hitler.
Right.
So yeah, I was like, oh, this could be cool. But Arcane has never killed anybody but Vander, who was the biggest walking death flag I've ever seen, and obviously Silco, but he's like the bad guy that dies at the end of the season.
They killed the. Hey, what do you mean? They killed the guy. The rat guy. They killed him. His dad.
Sure.
Come on.
Truly, right?
Yeah.
I did think it was because I was like, oh my god, the little girl is gonna kill V, and that's gonna be like epic.
Yeah, that would have been really cool, but no.
But that didn't happen.
Like, that is like, you know what? It truly, they're doing. It's so.
It was really cool that she was involved. Like when the first setup was like, oh, okay, well, it's a little parallel thingy and something, and then she came in the big moment, and I was like, oh, this could be like a game-changing Arcane moment to just throw this new character in, and that would be really cool and bold. But of course, Arcane isn't fucking bold or cool or anything like that, EliteAri. So.
It truly feels like this scene where they're fighting and the girl comes in, you think, oh my god, she might actually shoot by, and she doesn't. And then like everything kind of works out. No one dies. Caitlyn doesn't accidentally kill someone. Caitlyn doesn't like capture Jinx or anything like that.
Or at least have her kill the fucking kid.
No, yeah. What I'm saying, we'll have her kill the kid or whatever. It feels like it's so they went with the like safest, almost like obvious option that it feels like they have to do a second subversion of this later in the story, where it's like you expected something to happen here and it didn't happen, but later on they're going to do the same thing and it's actually going to happen. That's kind of what it feels like to me. But it could just be the Arcane thing of like, we're going to do the clear, like the narrative thing that all narratives
What if
do.
they're all fighting EliteAri and then the Black Rose shows up and they've all got to fight back to back? Oh, it'll be epic. They're all on the same side.
It could be, yeah. You could do something cool like that.
We should make bets or something about how we should think of the worst possible outcome and make bets on how close it's going to be.
So what would be the worst ending?
I think the cycle of hatred, like we shouldn't have been fighting each other when this big massive threat has been coming the whole time. Oh, the worst thing is just technology bad.
No, but like what should happen in the last like episode? What would be like really boring? Because like them all fighting together, it would be boring, but it would also be kind of cool to see like all these characters come together and like.
It would be
fight.
kind of.
Because Arcane does fights well usually, so to have a bunch of stuff together would be really cool. It
just feels like with the end of the episode, Caitlyn is sort of past, what do you call it? Gone past the point of no return or whatever.
Yeah.
So it feels like we have to like kill Caitlyn, but Jinx has also done that. She's killing innocent people, right?
Probably, yeah.
But it was just counselors, and she wasn't even behind the one that was actually bad. That was the mother. Jinx doesn't have to die, EliteAri. You love Jinx.
Well, she exploded Caitlyn's friends when they were in season 1, episode 4. So she's kind of evil.
Friend.
Yeah, the people who were bullying her, remember when they like bullied her and laughed at her? It's the funniest thing ever. Yeah, oh my god.
You know me, EliteAri, I am a big ACAB, so fuck those cops.
Alright.
So Jinx didn't do nothing wrong.
Okay.
We get Jinx's age yet, EliteAri. This is very important.
Well, I mean, we could calculate it, right? Could we roughly know?
I feel like she has to be like 16 or something.
I don't remember. I don't know. Probably, yeah. I don't know.
Because let me tell you something, the side boob is still around.
Okay. What was I going to say? The ending. Oh, you know what? Who knows? We can't speculate.
Well, we're predicting the worst thing that could possibly happen. Between 15 and 19, EliteAri, she's at least 18.
Okay. How old is Caitlyn? Caitlyn's old. Jace they're like the same age as Jace.
Season 2.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I saw a lot of tweets because, again, after I retweeted my this is what I was bringing up. I was trying to make fun of Caitlyn's boobs. Because apparently everybody on Twitter just thinks Caitlyn has the biggest boobs and it's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, okay.
Thoughts?
I don't know.
There was like so many like 100, not 100, but like 10k tweets about like, look at these fun bags she's got here. But it was all by women, so it was like okay, and like it was like subversively funny because they were saying a generic thing a gross guy would say, but because they're pretty like cosplay girls, it's really funny and cute, and you know you can like the tweet. So that's what I did. But also, I never noticed they were big.
I mean, the most attractive thing about Caitlyn is number one, her dedication.
She's British.
You know? No, it's her dedication. The fact that she was so concentrated when she was walking back and stepping on that stool, it's the best thing ever. You know, she's so tall and stuff, and she's like got a British accent and stuff, and yeah, it's great. We love Caitlyn so much.
But Jinx's hair nearly touches the ground.
That annoys me. I don't like that. I'm like, it's gonna get dirty and stuff.
Yeah, you complained about that 3 times every time I brought it up last discussions.
Well, I'm glad I'm consistent in this regard. Okay.
You are consistent in all these regards so far, except for calling Mel the hot one now.
She is. I mean, no, you know what it is? It's the one shot in the opening where she's like sitting in a singlet or something. Like, man, this is.
Wait, no, I do remember this shot now, and there's like things coming together, and it's just like the Rose thing. This is crazy.
Oh, there's foreshadowing in the opening. Who would believe it? Arcane of all things.
We gotta go back and watch it all. We gotta. What's in the OP, EliteAri? We gotta go over it.
All All right, well, let's see. What else have we got? I just have some episode 3 notes. I feel like we've talked most of the other stuff. Oh, do you remember the Game of Thrones scene, Kyle? Did anything stick out to you? Be like, this is like a Game of Thrones ripoff here, in a good way, or in an
Hold
okay
on,
way.
everybody. Let me think for a second. We were in the. I think we had another scene where we were in the theater again doing politicking, which was very funny because we kind of made fun of that trope last time. But instead, it was talking to a furry, and the furry girl actually heard what was inside. This is the Game of Thrones scene, EliteAri. I'm a genius.
No, actually, it's not. It's the scene where the disabled guy is like lying on his chair getting the ink tattoo, and then Ambessa walks in.
This is the one I'm talking about.
Wait, it is? I thought you were talking about the behind the stage thing.
Well, I guess I'm talking about the follow-up to this scene.
No, I'm talking about that actual scene, because it's like, this is a generic scene where you have the guy like lazing around in a brothel or something, and then the guy comes in and is like, yo, why are you here? It'll be like, yeah, Littlefinger will come in or something. Not Littlefinger,
and she
sorry.
Picked him up and said, don't shit talk my family.
Yeah, I can imagine like Tywin walking in and being like, what are you doing here? Or something like that. And
well, he walked in on Oberyn in there one time, but he didn't have the balls to say, what are you doing here? He was trying to win over it.
True, very true.
But he always tells Tyrion to leave the whore back in the lands and don't bring her to court. And then he did. And then Tywin was having sex with her. That was crazy, on God.
Unbelievable. So who is Ambessa going to have sex with, I guess? Maybe who's
Ambessa? Is that the mother?
The mother, yeah, I think. Who knows?
She was having sex with all those sexy boys last time, remember?
She was, yeah.
All her boy sluts, as I said 3 or 4 times in our previous discussions. That's pretty funny. That's a pretty funny line.
Mm-hmm.
No boys for her yet. You know, we'll have to see.
She's too busy
what if she
this
tries
season.
to seduce the great Jace? This is crazy.
Yeah.
Drama.
All right. I have another note here. We're doing the season 1, episode 3 parallel again. Did you pick that up at the end of this episode 3 where... Okay, let me give some reference here. So at the end of episode 3 of season 1, the greatest episode of Arcane and anything ever, basically, you have Vi and Jinx and all that, and like they're in the underground and they're having a big fight with Silco, and this is like a big pivotal moment in their life, basically. And at the same time, you're paralleling it with Jason, Victor, and they're working on the Hex tech, and they're like floating in the sky, and it's like a big triumphant moment for them. And like you have the 2 parallels of like the Hex tech science on the top, and you got like the big underground fight at the bottom. And now in episode 3 of season 2, you've got the same thing where you've got the Hex tech, like Jason, this time Echo and Heimerdinger, exploring this crazy like new stuff that's happening, and like, whoa, this is amazing technology and stuff. And in the underground, you got Vi and Jinx having this like pivotal moment of their lives, a big fight that's gonna like define the rest of their lives and everything. And mildly interesting parallel.
True.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle, for your support. Next, we have a bunch of cool slow motion shots in this fight. Oh my gosh, we love slow motion shots. Everyone's looking at the video right now.
You were making fun of the slow motion shots last time, and I was just like, no, they're cool.
But this one fight actually had some good ones. It felt like they took stills and just made them slow motion. I was like, okay, this is cool. I like that.
Oh, they were in the trailer too. It was like when they were like face to face, nearly going to punch each other.
Yep, it might be the image background right now. I have no idea if that's what you're talking about, but there is one that looked really cool. That's
really cool.
Thanks, Kyle. That's all the notes I have except for predictions. But do I have any? What is?
Well,
this?
I just wrote down 2 notes.
Go ahead.
Because you said underground, and that reminded me of the great "Welcome to the Underground" song from season 1. I will say the song game this season has been straight trash, EliteAri. I ain't seen no good songs yet. I don't remember a single one of them. They haven't used familiar artists yet. I wonder if that's a big thing. They were like, we ain't paying fucking these idiots for songs again this time round, which would be interesting.
There were 2 that were good for me. I know one of them was when they're saluting at the end of episode 3. I thought that was really good. But there was another one that I don't remember what it was in, but it was good. So take from that what you will, everyone listening.
I say EliteAri's a liar. Who you gonna believe, chap? Me or him?
Yeah.
I think the choice is obvious, frankly. And the other one is, I guess this relates to predictions. I will say, no matter all the shit we're talking right now, me and EliteAri have been very negative this whole view. That's just a farm comments. We don't actually believe any of them.
Mm-hmm.
We only like Jinx. Ooh.
That's not true.
I want to watch the next episode right now, EliteAri. I'm very curious. I can't wait to see where everything is going. I'm excited in that sense. I'm not really excited for it to be good, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But I was definitely going in.
Go ahead.
When we decided we were going to do this, I wasn't upset about it. I was very excited, and obviously I watched all the episodes very quickly because I was very curious.
Yep, same here. I didn't think, like, because,
It's got that going for it.
for some meta stuff, if you're listening here, you know, me and Kyle a few days ago were like, when should we do this? And should we do this before the next episode comes out? And we are like, oh, you know, there's not much time. We have to watch 3 episodes. It's take like 3 hours. At least maybe that's what I was saying. I don't know about Kyle, but we were going to do it like Sunday night, you know? But then we just both got through it so quickly and we're like, let's just record now. So, you know what? Maybe we did enjoy the show more than we sound right now.
True. This video might come out just before.
Yep.
The episodes come out. It'll be bigly.
But yeah, generally, like I said at the beginning of these overall thoughts, it started off cringe, but I did, like, despite how much I'm hating it, I did think this is better than last season. Like, I enjoyed this a lot. There's a lot of stuff I liked about this. It's just nothing that's worth talking about. I don't know. It's enjoyable to watch in a very good way. That's it.
True.
Now I get my 2 predictions here. Number 1, actually, this isn't a prediction at all, but why is Mel hiding the glowing armor thing that she did at the end of last season? Why is she hiding that from Jace?
Oh, she did. I did notice that. She did not say it.
It just feels like, what is going to be the reveal here where we're like, oh, okay.
You shouldn't have saved me. You should have saved... Or Caitlyn will be mad at her for who she saved or something. That seems impossible.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. That is probably what it's going to be.
No, there has to be a, like...
Well, I guess in that moment, she hid it from him because it's like, why didn't you save Victor or something? He would have said, but like, that's pretty dumb. I don't know, maybe not.
No, but Victor wasn't even... Oh, yeah, he did get hit by the blast, huh?
Oh, maybe it'll be like... Oh, it could actually just be the fact that she could have saved everyone, but she chose only Jace or something like that because she was kind of mad at the world.
Because it was coming right at Jace or something, and because like
it could
everybody
be
else
thing, I guess,
they wouldn't have been hit.
No, I was thinking more a selfish thing. Like, she doesn't really care about anyone else in that room, and it was only Jace she cared about.
Or she deflected it to hit all those other
people.
Oh,
yeah, that's true.
He's got a plan.
Yeah, it could be. Like, it was a decision where it's like, she could only save Jace and had to kill everyone else. Yeah, that's right. That could be a thing. Maybe. I guess we'll see. We'll probably find out, like, in this, wherever she's going in this Rose place, she'll have a traumatic flashback to that moment. Okay. Number 2. Now, this is a big brain prediction. So if I'm right here, I'm ascended. Like, this is going to be my greatest prediction ever. But there's no way it's going to happen. It can't. And it's not even a story thing. At the end of these episodes, Kyle... No, at the end of these episodes, every episode, the credits pop up. And there's the first names, there's 2 of them side by side. There's like one on the left and one on the right. I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed it was really strange every time it happened. I was like, why are there like 2 names? And usually they'd be like one on top of the other, but they're like next to each other, left and right. And it's such a weird visual choice that I feel like it has to be set up for a visual gag that will happen later on, where they're going to reveal that there's like 2 eyes behind it, or it's going to be like some weird like thing that's utilizing the fact that there's 2 names side by side here. They're going to put something behind it, and it's going to be like, whoa, I can't believe they've been setting it up this whole time. Wait, and here it is.
What
in
are the names?
I have no idea. At the end of the thing, they just show like
probably
the credits.
Just Jinx and Vi.
Yeah, but I mean, the way you're formatting the names, I don't care who it is, if it's like the director or the actor or whatever, like the fact that you have a name on the left and the right means you're going to set it up for something. Like, it's going to be paid off later. The fact that you're doing this weird thing with the credits.
I have to see this visually to give any input, I think.
All right. We'll have a look. We'll wait.
Well, I'm not logged in on Netflix on the laptop.
It's a shame. Anyway. So who knows? I have no idea.
You could take a screenshot and send it to me.
All right. You gotta fill the next 5 seconds, okay? Let's see.
Well, I'm completely out of notes. I got the great Variety article here. You know, Tyron Magnus already says variety in a funny voice, Leary. You know, they were just talking about, you know, everything I already said. There's not even anything interesting to bring up there. You know, it costs a lot of money, apparently, and the great Riot Games didn't like that. Riot Games apparently paid for a lot of the advertising for the first one, rather than Netflix paying for it, which is very unusual, apparently, according to Variety. And all
right, this is what it looks like at the end of every episode.
Oh my goodness, he sent it to me.
The first
and the Russo brothers were supposed to direct the League of Legends movie, but then they didn't, and then Riot had to pay him $5 million just to leave.
Okay, thank you, Kyle.
It was big drama.
Yep. Any thoughts on this?
I'm looking. Oh my god, it's nothing.
Yeah, but it's gonna be eyes. It's gonna be like a face behind it. And we're gonna be like, oh my god, it was all set up.
Isn't this how all credits look?
Nope. They're always different to this. This is a unique thing the show's doing.
Producer Riot, David Dubs Wrong. Well, obviously he's an idiot, or it's just Wong, not wrong. If his name is Dubs, we hate Dubs.
Yeah.
Line producer. Oh, and this is the animation studio. And I also learned that the animation studio is French. That's crazy. I learned that in the Great Variety article.
Okay.
But this means nothing. You're an idiot.
You'll see. If I am right about this, I am a genius, by the way. But
If you're right about this, I'll believe you about time travel and Chainsaw Man.
All right. All right. Anything else you want to talk about, Kyle, about Arcane here?
Not that I can recall. They'll be back next week, or probably sooner.
True. Yeah, I'm excited to see all our predictions.
So do you think are the episodes already out where you are, EliteAri? Are they coming out for me in 10 minutes? What's going on here?
Don't they come out on? Wait,
the 16th.
Yeah, I would assume like 7 a.m. or something. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe they will come out right now. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. See you. No, leave comments, please. We love comments. And see you next time.
Oh.
What was that?